My name is Daniel Dunlap, and this is my reflection for November 9th about abortion. So, the first situation I chose to talk about was no contraception was used because neither the young woman or her boyfriend planned in advance to go all the way. Having a baby now would seriously disrupt her plans for finishing college and her chosen career. I chose to talk about this one because this situation occurs quite a bit nowadays, where college students choose to have unprotected sex and find themselves with a child on the way. And to me, it doesn't really matter if it wasn't planned to go all the way, because that is something that can still happen. So they should have still made a decision, to have protection, even though they didn't plan to go all the way. I believe that an abortion here is the least justified. Personally, it doesn't matter if the baby will disrupt her plans for finishing college or her chosen career. I believe this because they both made a conscious decision to have unprotected sex, knowing that this could possibly lead to a pregnancy in the future. So how I see it, it would not be justified to have an abortion because they knew the risks and still decided to go through with it, even though it is very easy to engage in protective sex. The next situation I chose is the mother is a heroin addict, and she is unlikely to agree to rehabilitation if the pregnancy is continued. I chose to talk about this one because it is a very sad and difficult situation to handle. In this case, if the mom doesn't cut back and completely rid herself of her heroin addiction, this will have a profoundly negative effect on the baby. Heroin can either kill the fetus or cause chronic deficiencies. On top of that, the child would probably grow up in an unhealthy and dysfunctional home, and very possibly an abusive one too. After all this, I would still say that an abortion is not justified. I say this because if the mother knew she wasn't going to care for the baby and take responsibility, she should have engaged in protective sex or not engaged in sexual relations at all. In addition, because she chooses to have unprotected sex, it is not the fetus' fault that she became pregnant. So because of her, irresponsible choices and all that, I expect her to take responsibility and do the rehab, and go through that, because this is not the child's fault. She decided to be irresponsible, and I would expect her to be responsible. I don't care if she doesn't want to go through rehab or anything, because she decided to engage in unprotected sex, so now she needs to deal with the consequences. After that, she can give, after her, I would expect her to take the responsibility for 9 months until the baby is born, and after that, she can give the baby up for adoption and continue on with her addiction if that's what pleases her. And I believe that an abortion would also be a very selfish move by the mom and irresponsible, and that she should seek rehab, like I said, for the entirety of the pregnancy and then give the child up for adoption if that's what she wants. I also think that this also gives the opportunity, the mom going through the rehab and everything, this also gives her the opportunity to bond or have like a sort of relationship with the baby. And that might just be the best thing that ever happens to her. You never know. This baby might change her life, and she may not even know it. And she may miss this opportunity because she decided to have an abortion. So I just think that this situation of abortion is not justified because of that. My last one is amniocentesis reveals that the fetus is female, and the couple wants their firstborn to be a male. I chose this one because I used to live in a country in India that this was a big problem, since most couples' parents wanted a boy. In a lot of the culture there, the female's family would have to give away great expenses in order to get their daughter married with another man. They would have to pay the man's family great expenses, and it would and some of them didn't have that money. And because of that, in India, or where I was, at least where I lived, it is banned for them to know the sex of their fetus before he or she is born. And so, in this case, I see the abortion as the least justified. I say this because this is a very selfish and inhuman move by the parents if they were to choose to have an abortion, based on the fact that they didn't want a female. You cannot take away a life because you're not satisfied with the sex of the unborn child. That's just messed up. And this is why I believe that abortion here would be unjustified. Thank you.